Alright lads and lasses, welcome back to another video where today I'm going to be predicting week 2 of this EFL Championship. Week 1 saw a very cagey weekend where only 2 teams managed to score more than 1 goal. Before we do get into this week's predictions, I would like to congratulate Mark Chapman, who came away with 16 points overall with 3 perfect scores, so well done on that, Mark. Right, let's just dive straight into it and make our predictions for week 2. So first up, we've got Birmingham coming up against Huddersfield. Birmingham, of course, drawing first time out and Huddersfield losing. I think this is going to be another tight game. Not many goals in this one, so I'm going to go for a 1-1 scoreline. I predict that both teams will score. Next up, we've got Bristol City coming up against Sunderland. Sunderland, another team who drew last time out. There was lots of draws last week. 1-0 up against Coventry, ended up 1-1, and Bristol City as well. They lost in the dying moments against the Tigers of Hull City. So in this one, I fancy Bristol City at home to take all 3 points, and I'm going to go for a 2-1 scoreline. Next up, we've got Burnley winning their opening fixture away from home against Coventry, of course, and Luton Town carving out a draw. This one, I fancy Burnley, full of confidence after that initial win. It won't go all their way though, but I think Burnley will just sneak this one 1-0. Next, we've got Coventry City coming up against Rotherham. Rotherham did quite well against Swansea, although Swansea will be aggrieved that they didn't take all 3 points in that one. So I fancy Coventry to pick up all 3 points in this one, and I'm going to go for a 3-1 scoreline. Next up, we've got Norwich. Norwich, of course, lost on the opening weekend of the season away against Cardiff. Coming up against a Wigan side who drew their opening match against Preston 0-0. This one, I fancy Norwich to bounce back. Didn't create a lot against Cardiff, but I think they'll win this one 2-0. Then we've got Preston North End coming up against Hull City. I think this is going to be a real tough encounter, and I fancy them to share 3 points, and I'm going to go for a 1-1 scoreline. Then we've got Queen's Park Rangers coming up against Middlesbrough. QPR thought they'd get something in their fixture last week where they lost away against Blackburn Rovers. Middlesbrough also, they drew. Another team that drew 1-1 with West Brom. But I fancy Middlesbrough away from home in this one, and I'm going to go for a 1-0 away win. Then we've got Reading coming up against Cardiff. Cardiff, a very good win over Norwich. However, they didn't create too much in that match, and Reading narrowly lost their opening fixture away against Blackpool. I don't think there's going to be many goals in this one. Could end up in a draw 0-0, but I fancy the Bluebirds just to come through this one with a 1-0 away win. Next up, we've got Sheffield United at home against Millwall. Sheffield United losing their opening fixture away against Watford, coming up against a Millwall side who currently find themselves top of the table, having scored 2 goals last time out. But I fancy Sheffield United to win this one. I think it's going to be another very tight match, and I'm going to go for a 1-0 home victory to the Blades. Then we got Stoke City coming up against Blackpool. Blackpool opening their season with a fine win against Reading, who's probably going to be near the bottom at the end of the season. Stoke City could be a draw this one, but I'm going to go for a home win in this one. I'm going to go for a narrow 2-1 victory to the Potters. Then we've got Swansea City coming up against Blackburn. Real difficult one to predict this one. Swansea drawing away against Rotherham, and Blackburn opening their season with a 1-0 victory over QPR. So I fancy the Swans in this one to win narrowly 2-1 in front of their home fans. And the final fixture of the weekend takes place on Monday. We've got West Brom coming up against Watford. This could go either way. West Brom drawing their first match, Watford winning at the Hawthorns. They'll want to get 3 points on the board. It's going to be a tough ask. It's going to be a narrow win to either side, but I fancy West Brom to pick up all 3 points in this one, and I'm going to go for a 2-1 home victory. So that concludes my predictions for this game, week 2. Make sure you leave your predictions over at the Super Brew website. I'll leave a link in the description and the league code as well. Thanks for joining me once again. Remember your predictions. Hopefully I'll do better than last week, and I'll see you all in the next video.